This is the nominations. These are all the nominations for Best Story Told Over the Last Year.
And now, the Suey nominees for Best Story. Joe Buck's Pat Brownie's story.
I ate a brownie at a dinner in CABO.
Oh, boy.
And got no reaction.
That's the mistake.
What happens?
That's the mistake.
Well, I didn't know this. So I'm eating it with this buddy of mine, and like 45 minutes later, I said to him, do you feel anything from this? And he's like, no, I don't feel anything. And I said, only I can get no reaction from eating a pot brownie. Let's have another half.
There you go. That's
so
the mistake.
I had a brownie and a half, and then we all got in a car, not driving. We were driven down to this bar in CABO. I'm trying to text somebody, and then the letters start, like, flying off my phone into my face. And I'm like, this is not going to be good. We show up, and then I sit down, and I can't feel my legs. And I talked to the guy that drove us down there. I said, I need to leave right now. He was drinking a Coca-Cola, and I said, I need to drink that, and I got to get out of here right now. And so he helps me to my feet. We stagger to I somehow magically get down the steps and to the exit. I think we're going to go right. He thinks we're going to go left. He pulls me left as I go right. I pass out. I pass out onto the ground, go under a rope with my head hanging off into the marina. I damn near died. I had a dream while I was down there. I popped up, and I went from completely out of it to completely sober, worrying that within the next 4 minutes it was going to pop up on Deadspin that I just went down at a bar in CABO.
Aaron Rodgers, Kyle Vanden BOSCH story.
Kyle was a very good player for a number of years. He used to wear red contacts, which was he didn't need because he was already teetered on the edge of insanity. So I remember, one time he got me, and he was kind of, he wasn't getting off me. And he's like, I got you good. I'm like, you hit me in the head, though. He goes, no way. And I was like, no, I think it's going to be a penalty. He goes, no. I got you. Also, another play involving him, we ran a 7-man protection. He looped from his end, and our fullback kind of blasted him a little bit. He wasn't looking, so Kyle thought it was a cheap shot. And instead of getting up and chasing the play down, he chased the fullback down and ended up running a route out to the right. It was like, I'll kill you. I'm going to kill you.
When Newton once confronted Johnny Carson.
I went to L.A. to record a religious album, if you can believe that one. And as I'm doing the album and doing the tracks, the drummer says to me, I was surprised to see you here today. And I said, why? He said, oh, you obviously didn't see the CARSON show last night, did you? And I said, no, why? He said, well, it was pretty brutal, and he filled me on the details. And I told the man who was producing the album, I said, go ahead and do the tracks. I'll be back in a minute. And I left the studio and jumped in my car. I was recording at Capitol and went right over the hill to Burbank. And I walked in Carson's office. And he was sitting there and with his producer. And so I said to Freddie DeCordova, his producer, I said, would you excuse us, please? Woo. And he got up and walked out. And I then explained to Carson why the lack of humor, if you want to call it that, is going to stop. It's going to stop now, or I was going to clean the building with him. And
wait, yeah.
He sat down in the corner. He said, well, I didn't write that stuff. I said, that's even worse because that means that you're nothing more than a monkey repeating something that somebody else is right now. I want to tell you, it stops here and it stops now because the next time I'll cut your tongue out.
Wayne Newton.
Wayne bleeping Newton.
Yeah.
The joke stopped right then. I mean, the man, I said to him, never say my name again, and to my knowledge, he never did.
Woo, that's some mafia stuff,
Yeah.
Wayne. Nobody bleeps with Wayne Newton.
Terry Branshaw's penis sock story.
I go back to my trailer to get my robe, and I look on my
penis
bed,
sock,
and there's 3 penis socks. One is about 18 inches long, one is about 12 inches long, and one is about 4 inches long. And I'm looking, and I'm going, you have got to be kidding me. I got to pick one of these and put on my penis. And I went, holy cow. Now, if I take the big one, everybody in the world knows that that's just no way that that's possible. I got horses that couldn't fill that thing out. So I said, if I take the little one, they're going to laugh at me because it's not very long. And I know the wardrobe people are going to gather around and go, which one did he go with? Obviously, I went with the middle one. And I put that stupid thing on. I got up there to do the scenes, and I had a penis sock on, and I've never been more uncomfortable in my life.
Steven Jackson, tell us about the time Ron Artest called him a...
We were in practice. He was having a great practice, don't get me wrong, but I was too as well. So when they beat us, he said the B word, he said, all y'all B's. So I took that, okay, you're not even talking about basketball anymore. You're being disrespectful. So of course, I take my jersey off, my top jersey off, and say, put a name and an address on it. I'm ready to fight.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. You know what I mean? He kind of, said he mean it like that, but he never said it to me again.
Mike Golick Jr., Hank Azaria story.
Can't talk about the calf enough. That place, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the nicest thing up there, right?
Oh, by far. Saw Hank Azaria in there the other day. I said, have you seen the calf? He hadn't seen the calf yet.
It's a good story, man.
Kevin McHale's James Harden story.
You coach James Harden. Give us a good story of him not playing defense.
Wow, did someone just punch you, Kevin? Did someone just walk into the room and punch you right in the stomach?
On the defensive end, James's guy would cut behind him and be laying it in. And the classic was he'd look at the corner where his guy, where he thought his guy was as he's laying it in, like that was a new guy, like that guy had cloned himself and had And I always just laughed at that. I'd be like, no, that is your guy, and he cuts behind you and he's laying it in. Because he'd always look at the corner. And when I watched the film, it'd be like an apparition, like there was two of them, I would just go, oh my goodness.
And now, the Suey nominees for Best Story. Vince Scully, hot shot, hit foul.
Back about my third year, the Dodgers were playing Cincinnati, and Cincinnati had an outfielder named Lloyd Merriman. Lloyd hit a ball foul, and my mind told me to say, hot shot, hit foul.
No, oh, no,
and and it never came out that way. and everybody in the booth fell down, and I was absolutely mortified. And the reason I remember Lloyd Merriman, I started filling. He's a former Marine Air Corps pilot, saw combat in Korea. I did on and on. That really, that had to be, considering how young I was, that was about it.
Adam McKay pretended to be a baseball GM.
I was a junior in college, and I just kind of on my own picked up the phone and called the GM of the Phillies. And, I went through like the 3 levels of receptionist, assistant, and I thought I would get stopped at some point. And then finally it's just, I heard a voice just say, I said I was Lou Gorman from the Red Sox, who was the GM at the time. And finally a voice just said, hey, Lou, how you doing? And I really quickly had to think of a trade. I think the Phillies had a guy named Randy Reddy, who was like a backup second baseman. I was just like, yeah, we're looking for a left-hander. I kind of lowered my voice, probably horribly. I probably sounded like a 19-year-old or 20-year-old lowering his voice, and said, we're looking for a left-hander. We got Randy ready. We know you need a glove for the infield. I tried to sound like a professional, and there's just a long pause, and he just said, who is this? And I just hung up the phone.
Ric Flair is struck by lightning story.
I was getting off a plane in Richmond, Virginia, and I was late for a match. I was a world champion then. I was wrestling Steamboat at the Richmond Coliseum. Finally, when it stopped, they let us all get off the plane. It was a Delta plane. I was on an Eastern jet, and I was walking. I didn't go 10, maybe 15 feet, and all of a sudden I felt this pressure boom. And, man, my umbrella shut like 50 feet in the air. I thought, what the hell? Lightning hit the top of my umbrella, bounced off, and hit the guy 5 feet behind me in the eye and killed him right there. I just sat there looking at the guy, froze. It scared me so bad. Whoa. People running out the door to get the guy. Yeah. True story.
CHAEL Sonnen, Eddie Alvarez mobster story.
We're out in Russia. These mobsters were putting on fighting, right? It was like old school boxing. We knew it. We knew exactly who we were working for. Post-fight parties on this yacht. One of the guys slaps a woman or does something to a girl that was like serving as a ring card girl, and Eddie just popped up and knocked him out. Well, the guy was a connected gangster. So I know everything that I said right there is true. 100% that part's true. Saw it with my own eyes. The part I don't know is the rumor that they then took Eddie out somewhere, dug a hole, and explained to him what would happen and what should happen, but they weren't going to do it and let him go back to America. That part I did not see, but I personally believe is accurate.
Dan, cleaning his bidet.
I'm sitting here looking at this damn thing and all the buttons. I don't even need to use the bidet right now. Somebody has used the bidet, and it doesn't look clean to me. And so I'm sitting here, and I'm like, well, how do I clean this? Okay, so here we go. Are you ready? So I'm staring at this. I got 4 faucets, and this doesn't look clean to me, and I've got a date outside, and I'm like, that's kind of gross that she would come in here and there would be a dirty bidet. She's going to accuse me. I don't know how to use the bidet. What happened here? How do I clean the bidet? I turn one of the fountains right in my face, gets my shirt all wet.
Dan, poop outside.
I had just come back from a journalism convention in Atlanta, and I was trying to get into my house. And, you know, I was penguin walking down the driveway, and I realized I couldn't find my keys anywhere. And I'm like, what the hell? What do I do? So I'm in no man's land. I don't right now have the ability, given the state of my body seizing up, to climb through a window, to break a window. There is no time for that. What do?
You find a public place and you do what you got to do.
All right, so I went in the backyard, but this is the funny part about it. Oh, good God. Visually, is that you've got a situation in the backyard. There's Dan LeBatard pooping next to a mountain of journalism plaques. I got 5 of them.
STUGOTZ getting ejected from a lacrosse game.
So we're in the semifinals of this tournament, and we're playing a team called Orange Crush. And it's a very close game, back and forth, 1-goal differential. The referee is just making bad call after bad call. I start getting mad at her. I start yelling at her a little bit. But in my defense, Dan, game was over. I accepted defeat. Hands have been shook, and we are going our separate ways. And the referee, who is just tiny, she drags me back into it. I am going to talk to my team. She's walking off to referee her next game. She calls me back over to her, and she says, what's your overall problem with me? And I said, I don't have an overall problem with you. My overall problem is with the officiating down here in general. You are paid to know the rules, and you don't know the rules. And she goes, well, what makes you think I don't know the rules? I said, you went to look at a rule book during a running clock game to see if the call you made was correct or incorrect. To me, that's not knowing the rules. Do a better job. She said, you have this problem with all the refs? I said, listen, do me a favor. I'm upset. My team just lost. Why are we still talking? Why are you talking to me? I was walking my way. You were walking your way. She said, as long as we're standing on this grass, on this field, in this park, you're in my domain. I said, really? I'm in your domain? It's a public park. I have every right to be here. I'm not in your domain. If anything, I live around here and I'm paying property taxes. You're in my domain. That's what I said to her. And then I said, that Napoleon thing you got going on is not a good look. Red card! Get out of here! And not just out of here, out of my park.
Norm MacDonald, bad beat blackjack story.
One time I had a massive bet down. It was my last bet. I just said, I'll just bet all this. And then I got 2 aces. And and then I was like, I don't know if I have enough money, but can I get some credit, like from the casino to bet on this other ace? And they're like, no. And I'm like, does anyone else want to buy an ace? No, but everyone else there was betting small.
You were at a $5 table.
No, I don't like the. What the hell? I'm watching the draft.
What? Norm, what?
I was just watching the draft.
Okay. All right.
So, anyways, my two aces, I go, hit me. You know, I have two. You know what I mean? So I have to hit. So I have an ace and an ace. It's a 2. So I hit it.
Oh, no.
Because you couldn't
Boom.
split it. Here come the face
12.
cards. Here come
Boom. 22.
Oh.
So as obviously I would have had 2 21s. Instead I have 1 22.
That Gojo story has to be the winner.
How is that in there? Why is it in there?
If I was the man I was 5 years ago, I would take a flamethrower to this place.
And Mike's already getting criticized. David Deal's story is not in there. The David
Such
Deal
a terrible story.
But it's better than Gojo's story.